So the next thing we're going to look at is our climbing rope. Now our climbing rope for sport climbing is typically going to be a full rope. What you'll see on the ends when you buy it or on the packaging is like a circle with a 1 in it, and that means it can be used entirely on its own. And what I've got here is a rope bag, and so what I've done is I've flaked the rope out, and every time I put the rope away or use it, I feel through the rope and I pull through, and this rope has got a top and a bottom. So what I'm going to do is take the rope off the top and get ready to tie in. So when we're sport climbing, what we generally try to do is tie in with a figure of 8 knot. The easiest way to tie a figure of 8 knot, and you're going to hate me for telling you this, is you make a loop, you strangle that little face that you made with a loop, you poke them in the eye, and then you pull their hair, and what you end up with is a nice figure of 8, 2 holes there. What you want to do is go down through this loop here and then through this loop here. The reason we go down is that if you go up you can sometimes miss the waist loop, and it's really important that you have the waist loop done. And then what we're going to do is rethread this knot. And what we're looking for, ideally, you might have to just play around with this a little bit to get it perfect, is a knot where this loop isn't that much bigger than your belay loop, that the knot is nice and tidy, and that if you count there's 2 ropes, 2 ropes, 2 ropes, 2 ropes, 2 ropes, or you can go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and if there's 10 ropes there all nicely together, then that's fine. You can do this little stopper knot here. The important thing is not to do it out here, because that can produce another loop that you might clip into by mistake. So what we want is either 1 or 2 loops around there and cinch it all the way up so it's right against this knot. So the other thing you're going to want to look at when you're sport climbing is, you know, how you clip. Now, all of my quick draws pretty much have one captivated end, yeah, and one non-captivated end. The captivated end, this one here, is the one that goes to the rope, and that's how I remember to clip it in, because if I clip this in and I fall, what I can do is damage this carabiner, and you get little like rough edges, especially on like little angle bolts. I'll show you some later. You get damage here, and if you then clip that to the rope, you'll damage your rope. So essentially you're going to clip that in, and you might just want to, before you start lead climbing, just practice clipping in with either hand, and then take the carabiner, turn it around the other way and practice. Take the other hand, practice, and then maybe change where you're standing, so you're going to reach out over here and practice this way, and then maybe if you had a hold here and you've got to kind of come across, you know, there's lots of different ways that you have to clip a quick draw, and spending a little bit of time practicing is going to make the world of difference. What things that you want to avoid is going and clipping like this. So if you can see, the rope goes down, it goes up and through to me. So if I was up here and I fall, I could potentially fall across that gate, and that will happen. And so what we want is, the best way to visualize it is I'm peeing into a little pot, a little boy peeing into a pot, and boom, that's in, it goes from me down. And so now if I was to fall off in the same place, the rope comes over the front of the gate. Other things to try and remember is, if the climb is going this way, I would have the carabiner this way round, because then the rope would fall over the back bar. Similarly, if I was going this way, I would take this carabiner off and have it this way round and clip it this way. Yeah, so generally we want a spine in line of the direction we're going, rope to be coming up the rock and out to me as the climber. And that is, you know, essentially the two main things with quick draws. You know, other than that, you just want to practice, you know, being here, being to the side and clipping. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is what to do when we get to the top of a climb. So let's say I've got to the top of a climb, this is my last bolt, and then I've got to the 2-bolt lower off. So typically on a route you either have 2 bolts like this, 2 bolts offset like this, or 2 bolts linked to a single point on a chain. Either way, this is what we call the lower off. And what we have to work out is, obviously we don't want to leave our rock climbing equipment up there, but at the same time we want to be able to not die lowering off, and that's why I have this on me. What I could do is I could come up, clip into one of the bolts and take out this one. I always have the last bolt clipped. I then bring up a loop, pass that loop through one. Quite tough on that one. It's probably going to be even tougher on this one. There we go, so I've got the second loop through. And I bring this down so it's here, and I'm going to tie a figure of 8 knot on, take a spare screw gate and clip it into my belay loop. Could get my belayer to take me tight on this one now, and because I've clipped in with this one and I'm clipped into here, I can untie this one and I'm still safe. Can then find this and pull it through. Could then shout down to my belayer to definitely take in now. This one's superfluous because the rope's now going through the bolt, so I can remove this one. And what I'd get is the person to take me in there. I'd lean onto the anchor, make sure this is held, and only when I've made sure that's held, I take on, and the climber can lower me down, and I can strip all the quick draws on the way down.